e-commerce presentation of trying to get you guys back into business and taking your businesses online. For those of you that have not joined us before, I'm Rich Henrich. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for Rook Digital. We are a full-scale digital marketing company with offices here in the desert, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake City, as well as Savannah, Georgia. I'm joined by my partner, Paul Gonzalez, who's our Vice President of Strategy. And this really is all about what we can do as businesses to take ownership of our business, even during a time that we're challenged with, and some of us don't have the ability to have our doors open, and we have to find new ways to engage in business. So we've gone through sort of the basics of what is the internet, how the internet operates. So, in general, quick overview of that, remembering that the internet operates like a research paper. Everything was built so that researchers could exchange information, and how Google operates today is really basically looking at your website as a research paper. Does your website say what you are about? If so, great. That's what we call on-page SEO, or search engine optimization, is creating content on that website. 75% of what Google's looking at is what other people say about you. Think of that as your references. So kind of the quick notes on what you can do immediately, obviously, is your website. Control the content that's on that site. Make sure it's reinforcing the things that you're about. Making sure next that you have a Google My Business listing. It's free to set that up, but there's a lot of categories. And oftentimes we see businesses don't have the settings right, especially now as we go through reopening phases. We want to make sure that your settings are set correct on Google My Business. It's one of the easiest, cheapest ways that you can engage in doing online e-commerce is just letting people know that you're open, what your hours are, your holiday schedule, how they can reach you, either by phone or by directions. And as we get into the next level, really looking at all the tools that are available to us, right? So we may be familiar with eBay and Amazon, huge marketplaces, but there's also ways that you can still engage your products and put them on Sears.com, on Walmart.com, using tools such as Spotify, or looking at Etsy, or various tools that are out there that are really easy to get products and services up online. So today we basically are going to do our final wrap up and try to really help address some of the specifics of what you guys are facing and how we can be the best guide for you on that. I know, Robert, who I refer to as Protein Power Fuentes, has a protein cookie, and that's a great product. It's a great fit for the health and wellness industry. We're seeing, some good growth in that sector right now as people are at home. They've got to figure out how their workouts are going to work, and having some access to, good, healthy products to get their protein levels up. It's a great product. So no matter what your product or service is, e-commerce is the way that you're going to be able to reach that customer or that client. So I want to start off by trying to just, look at any questions that you guys might have right now, as this is our last segment. Of course, we're always going to be available to you. Reach out to us at any time. We're here to give you further guidance. But as today is our sort of our wrap up, we want to make sure that this is a little bit more tailored to some of your questions and your specific needs that you might have. So any questions so far on the last two sections that we've covered? Fantastic. We've done an excellent job. You have no questions. I don't believe that at all, though. So I know what's going to happen. We're going to get flooded with emails after this. And, all right, that's okay too. Augustine, is there anything that you want to say or address before we head into the full rest of the workshop?
All right, now I just want to apologize about the link. There was a technical issue with it, so it was updated last minute. So far, your content's been great. I think it covers some of the basics, and then you go into more detail that most people overlook. So it's just definitely insightful. and easy to an easy approach. So thank you for your insight.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things I really want to emphasize to everybody is the insights are there so that you have advanced level insight, right? We're passing that on to you so that you don't struggle. And while it may be frustrating to get used to doing something new, none of us like to do anything that's new, whether it's, figuring out a new remote control, figuring out how a new TV works, whatever our routine is that gets disrupted, we don't like that change, right? But these are small steps that you can do incrementally. And if you just put in dedicated time each day, 15 minutes, an hour, break it up into segments. It doesn't have to be such a huge burden that you can't overcome it. And if you follow the steps that we've outlined, you will have success. Now, obviously, the more fuel that you can put into it, the faster that success is going to come to you. But I think as far as expectations, even when you have a decent budget and you start to implement these changes, it still is going to take, 3 months plus to start to really see some traction. But you have to invest in this sort of digital infrastructure, because whether it's coronavirus, this year or last year, or it's something else that's going to come forward in the future, right? We have to always be adaptable within our businesses to be able to move forward. And that's the main key, is just dedicate yourselves to putting a little bit of time into it. Paul, want to take it away from there?
You bet. So let me unmute myself. Get situated here where it looks like I'm crawling through your computer screen. All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about utilizing Facebook. Just a little bit. So again, a free tool. It's open to anybody to use. And even just doing the basics that anybody can do that doesn't cost you a penny on Facebook can have a huge impact on how you're able to influence your market, how you're able to rebrand yourself, or to pivot from what you've been doing and take a different approach, maybe jump into a new market that you haven't been in. Now, for the longest time, and even now at this point in time, a lot of people still look at Facebook as, oh, it's a great place to catch up with friends and family and see what's going on. I can find some cool stuff. It's not really heavily associated with online businesses like an e-commerce type business. People don't generally jump on Facebook to look for services they need or products they want to buy. They'll use it to find recommendations. But if they're looking for something specific, most of the time they're jumping on Google and doing a search there. So how do we use Facebook to drive business to you, regardless of the type of business you do, the industry you're in, the city you're in? How do you use it? Okay. What we're going to talk about today with Facebook, I'm not going to cover a lot of the basics. We'll go through that really quick. I'll take just a few minutes to hit some of the basics and what you should be aware of. But really, I'm going to show you how to use Facebook, a few hacks that you can use to speed up your process in driving traffic, in gaining new followers, in extending your reach to new potential customers and clients. Okay, now, before we jump into that, right off the bat, does anybody have questions about Facebook for Business? Anything you want to know up front?
I got something real quick. If I try to post something to one of my business pages, it will let me post one video or one picture.
Okay.
Is that normal? Because there's stuff I don't want on my personal page, but I want to post to my business page.
Sure. Okay, now here's the thing with Facebook. You should be able to post multiple images in any single post. Facebook does a lot of testing, and they're always playing with algorithms. And when Facebook runs a test, it's not like they jump in and say, okay, let's test it and see if we limit everybody to one video or one video and one picture. That's not the way they do it. It's not a worldwide or even a nationwide adjustment that they make. They will say, okay, we're going to run this test and we're only going to give you one video, or we're only going to give you 2 images, whatever it might be. And they'll run a test and say, let's do Southern California, or let's do just Houston, or maybe Miami. And they'll run 500 tests like that in select markets. If you're having trouble putting up more than one image, you may be the victim of a current test that they're running. Otherwise, it might come down to how you're trying to run that post. Are you setting it up as just a regular post, or are you creating a post through the ads manager?
A regular post. Like if I try to post multiple pictures, it won't let me post them. Or multiple videos, something like that.
Okay. Why don't you email us after this?
Okay.
A little bit of troubleshooting, but it should be pretty quick to figure out. The other thing you could do to just change it right now is go into your ads manager, and you can create a post there also. You don't have to pay money. You can just create a post, and it gives you extra tools where you can add in more images. You might consider using a carousel where you can do multiple images and videos. And those are great to use for people that are in areas with really slow internet or limited connectivity. So out and about the desert, when they're hopping between towns and you get cut off from Wi-Fi, maybe try that, but get with us after and we can dig into your specific page and see, maybe a setting got changed, or maybe it is just a test and it goes away in a week or two. But great question. Anybody else? Any other Facebook business questions? All right, let's jump into it. Let me go ahead and, Augustine, if you can give me access to share my screen, we'll jump in here and we'll take a look through Facebook. Here we go. Let's share this one. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen right now. So here we are in Facebook. This is an old page we set up basically to explain where pieces of the Facebook tools are. This is probably 12 or 13 years old, but it's a good demonstration. So when you go into Facebook, you first initially sign up for Facebook, you have what is called a Facebook profile. And it's important to distinguish between the two. A Facebook profile is your personal page. You as a person, you connecting with your family and friends, things like that, or following things you're interested in. A page now becomes some type of business page. It's a business, it's an organization, it could be an event. Under a page, you're going to have some extra tools that you don't have just under a personal profile page. Now, you can create a post for your business from your profile or from your business page. You just select who you choose to represent at that point, and you can do it. But let me give you guys a quick hack right now. This is where we talked about spying on your competitors. This is going to be the fastest way for you guys to jump in and say, okay, what are my competitors doing? What seems to be working for them? And how can I use that for myself? Who would like to know that? Raise your hands in the screen. There we go. We got a couple. We got a couple cameras off. All right. So this is how you do it. Facebook in the last few years has made a really big push to be transparent in the information that they share. Some of it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why they would do it, but it provides us with some awesome opportunities. Okay? Now, Going from here, anybody can do this. Pay attention to these steps. Okay, this is the number one hack to find out what your competitors are doing or businesses you're interested in, fun brands that you follow or groups. A lot of people come up with good advertising. My recommendation, number one, is follow on Facebook all of your competitors, anybody you consider a close competitor, but then follow other brands as you're driving around town, watching TV, listening to the radio. If an advertisement comes up that catches your attention and it makes you laugh or it just snaps you out of daydreaming and you pay attention to that advertisement, pay attention to who the company is. Jump on Facebook and follow them. The more different ideas you have, the more creative you're going to be in coming up with ways to reach out to your audience. Now, again, what we're doing here does not require any money. Okay? We're going to show you how to find out what your competitors are doing. We're going to show you how to gauge what's probably working best and then implement those same ideas and strategies for yourselves. So when you're in Facebook up here, you've got the search bar and you can look up anything that you want. So I'm going to pull up Kodiak Cakes as an example. They were one of our clients. When I go to the Kodiak Cakes page, this is their homepage right here. And Facebook, in their attempt to be kind and generous to everybody, they will disclose a lot of information about Kodiak Cakes. Okay. If I want to know, okay, well, here's another question for you. How many of you struggle to come up with some kind of advertisement or something to talk to your market about? If you have trouble with that, coming up with those ideas sometimes, raise your hand or jump in, unmute yourself, say, I do.
I do.
Okay. So here's what you do. Go look at your competitors or top advertising brands online. And on the page over here on the left-hand side, now let me make sure my screen's sharing. Can everybody see this? We're looking at Kodiak Cakes on Facebook. Let's give me a head nod. Okay. So if you scroll down a little bit, you've got the About section, talks about the business itself. You've got, you can suggest edits to them. Don't do this generally. Let them figure it out. You got the photos section. You've got videos of what they're doing. If they're e-commerce or offering services, you've got their shop right here. You can look in and see all of that. What we're most interested in is page transparency, this section right here. Okay, page transparency is going to give us some great information. All right, so I go to page transparency. I'm going to click on see all. That brings me in here and gives me more background information. Okay, here's the brand, any organizations that manage this page. I can find out if they're using
Sri Lanka
company or not. How long has this page been online? Where are people running this page? And then most importantly, right here, ads from this page. Okay. If they're my competitor, I want to know what ads they're running. If they're running ads, it must be worth spending money on. Okay. You're not going to run an ad that is worthless. So I want to see right here, Facebook gives us go to ad library. If a competitor is running ads on Facebook, you can go in and you can look at every one of those ads. How useful is that? All right, let me pull this up. Now, here would be my recommendation for you guys in the ads. Facebook will show you ads, and if it is an active running ad, you get this little green check mark right here. It says active next to it, and it tells you the day when this ad started running. Okay. Number one thing to look at is the further back you go, or the longer that ad has been running, probably the more successful that ad has been. They're not going to run an ad for 8 weeks or 8 months even if it's not profitable for them. So if I were a competitor to Kodiak cakes, I can look and say, okay, well, the oldest ad they're showing that's currently running is from January 14th. So it's about a month old. If this one is still running right now, compared to, you know, a few from last week, it's a good bet that the older ones are having success, right? So I'm going to look at this ad, then I can go in and I can find more details. I'm going to go see ad details. What does it tell us about this? You know, get an idea of what their tagline is in there. What's their headline? Where are they sending people to buy it? Apparently they're sending these people to Costco. And then learn more. Okay, the second step here is go into learn more. This should take me to a landing page. I want to know what that landing page has. Okay, this is taking me right through their sales funnel. So here we go. We've got Kodiak Cakes. We're looking at their ad. It says Costco.com. When I click on learn more, it's helping me find a Costco warehouse. Okay. Well, apparently this is working well for them. What I can tell you with a little bit of insider knowledge is that this is a co-sponsored ad with Costco. We know that because and Costco's paying money on it. Okay. But I'm going to scroll through here and I'm going to look at a handful of ads. That's just a picture. We've got some video ads. There's another image ad. This is a co-sponsored with Target. But what catches my interest? Great taste, less carbs, huh? Well, let's check out this ad, okay? As I look through their ads, I'm scrolling through and what grabs my attention? If it appears, no, if it doesn't appeal to me, maybe it's a little bit boring, okay, I'm gonna skip that. But if it grabs my attention, if it makes me stop for a second and take a second look and read what it says, it's probably worth looking at for you, okay? So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna check out the ad, what's the headline, what's the tagline, and then where does it take me? I wanna know. This is probably gonna take us to Sprouts. Yeah, you can see right here in the URL, it's another lookup page just like we saw for Costco, right? This is number one. This is a great place to figure out what are people doing? What videos are working? You know, is this one running and working well? Is this one with the bear working well? Figure it out. What are your competitors doing? And how can you adopt some of those ideas for yourself? Now let's go in and let's do this for one of you guys. Let's actually go through this and do a little research for one of you guys. Let me pull up my jump in. Would one of you guys like us to do a little research on a competitor? Anybody? Really, no suggestions? All right. Let's go back here and let's show you another piece of the information. Close that down. Okay. Now, going back into your Facebook page, something else that you can do. You've got a store where you can sell products online, just like you saw in the Kodiak cakes. If you have products that you're selling, list them here. Robert, you probably already got that. If you're a service company, you can book appointments, you can host online events. If you're a restaurant, you can show your menu, useful things. The next little piece of insights that you can pull from your competitors, how you can spy on them. And again, come up with ideas of, you know, what should I be putting out there? What do people like? Go over here on the left-hand side in your page, go to Insights. All right. Now the insights will show you just insights, analytics on any posts and things that you've put out. Again, this is just this is a test page. We don't market anything here, but here's what you need to be aware of. here you've got pages to watch. Okay. This is another spot where you need to be checking out what your competitors are doing. This is where you can spy on people. So find out who the competitors in your market are, who are big names. Who has a competitor? Somebody give me the name of a competitive business that you follow.
Quest bars.
Okay. So I'm going to click on add pages. Let's see if we can find Quest bars. Is it Quest bar chocolate brownie or Quest?
Yeah, I think it's the nutrition
bars? Probably this one. So I'm going to go here. If this is my competitor, I'm going to click on watch page. Okay. The first day when you load it up, I'm not going to have any data in here. But what's going to happen over time is it will start showing me saying, hey, these are the top posts. Close out of that one really quick. Use Brendan Keenan as an example. And I just loaded him in this morning. But it'll show you this week's top posts from whoever your competitor is. Look at those posts, and you're going to look at which ones have the most likes, and more importantly, which ones have the most shares. The shares are going to tell you what are people in your market resonating to. What do they like best? Okay. So between looking at what is the latest post that they're putting out, and do you have information regarding the same subject that you can put out and format the same way, similar images or videos, or hopefully better images or videos, give a better explanation, that generates content so that you're keeping up with your competitors. And the other piece is in their ads, looking, searching through the page transparency and going to their ads library and checking on their ads. Okay. Those are the two biggest things that I would use as free tools to get myself out there. What are these people doing? What's popular? And how can I recreate it and get it out there? That solves two huge problems for me. One, coming up with what am I going to talk about next? And two, what does my market want to hear? Okay. Little bit of research, follow the competitors, look at their ads. Those two things right there answer the questions. Well, this is what's popular, so here's what I'm going to talk about. Just that simple. Okay. Any questions, guys, on how to use Facebook? None at all?
I have 5 different pages. Is that from different areas? Some of them are personal, but 3 of them are business. Is that too many?
The 3 business pages, are they for the same business or?
Well, one is for the cookies, one is for the personal training, and one is for the equipment.
Okay, no problem. That's not a problem. I would imagine you're running them as 3 distinct brands.
Well, the last 2 are kind of combined, so the training and the equipment. But the cookie and the other thing are separate brands.
Let's look at them really quick. What's the training page?
First one's the Gorilla Cookie. THE.
Gorilla Cookie Company, okay. Let's take a quick look here. All right.
You see, I'm a little obsessed with gorillas.
No problem. I actually used the Gorilla for was a brand we were going to launch. We just ended up sitting on it. It's good. Okay. So that's the Gorilla Cookie. Let me open up another page here. What's the second brand?
Gunny's Training Center, GUNNYS Training Center. GUNNYS. It'll probably show up.
In my opinion, I think they are, even though you can say they're in a related industry,
Yeah.
I definitely keep them separate. But this is where you sell the weights, right?
That and the other page.
Okay. So here's what I would do. I would separate those out. I wouldn't sell the weights and the cookies on both pages.
Yeah.
One specifically for cookies, one page specifically for the weight sets. Okay. And the other thing that I'm noticing on here is that I don't
And then
see
another question, is that long of a hashtag a problem? Because I've heard shorter is better.
the Gunny's Training Center.
Is that too long? You know what I'm saying?
No,
No, it's fine. All right.
no, that's not a problem. I mean, maybe 10 years ago,
All right.
it's no big deal. But the major suggestion I would have on your pages is set up your store,
Okay. Yeah.
because you don't have your products on here.
I think I do have them on one of those.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because I thought I had it on the products there.
Okay, so this page right here, the Gorilla Cookie Company, it looks like you set it up as a profile page, because down here at the bottom, it tells me add your business.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah, so you would create a business page. That would allow you to put on your store all of your products, and then you can sell them right through Facebook. People didn't even have to leave Facebook to buy them.
Okay.
It's an online store right there, which eliminates one obstacle to getting people to convert to pay you money. If they see what you've got and then they have to go find another website, right there, you're going to have immediate attrition. But if it's right there and they don't even have to leave Facebook, they're just right there in their feed and they can pick what they want. And they can place the order right there and then keep scrolling. There you go. You're making it as easy as possible for them to purchase something.
All right.
So you've had this page, looks like it said, what, 2014 is when you built this page? Yeah, February 2014. It's probably worthwhile to duplicate this, create a business page identical for it, and then push people over.
Hey, Paul.
That's what I do. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. It's going to kick us off here in the next 20 seconds or so. So if everybody could just follow the link and log back in into the meeting.
Okay, thanks for the heads up.
Thanks.
And then
I apologize about that.
No problem. Gunny's Training Center is set up the same way. This is a profile page and not a business page.
Everybody off in about 20 seconds.
You've got 112 likes on this, people, 119 followers. Just go in and invite them to like the new business page. And then you'll be able to do the same thing here. Put in an actual online store where people can see your products.
I don't know if he's back on yet.
Yeah, give me. He's still logging in.
All right, while we're doing that, any other questions from?
All right. And I made you a call so you can share your screen again if you want to.
There he is.
There you go. Yeah, so convert these both over to business pages, and then you can put your store on there and sell your products right through Facebook, which will help with some of the conversions. Okay. Any other questions, you guys, specific to your business pages we can look at, or about Facebook that we can cover? All right. Well, then I will turn this back over to Augustin and Rich. So you
Thank you,
guys
Paul.
take it from here, and we can field any other questions you have.
So I think the main goal for us was to make sure that you had high level understanding of, one, how the internet works. So if we understand things on a principle level, we can begin to apply the tactical level, right? And so what Paul's taking you through is some great strategy as well as some tactics to know how you operate not only with your business but in the competitive landscape of your competitors. How helpful was this to you guys? We have about 20 minutes, so if this was not helpful, then we want to know immediately so that we can give you something helpful before you leave today.
Very helpful.
And this is for you guys. So we were asked to come in, and it's a huge topic to jump in and only have 3 hours to cover. So it is critical for us to make sure we're doing all we can to help businesses across our valley succeed. And we know, because we've tested these tools out, you've seen the proof in the Kodiak cake. They are clients of ours that have done phenomenally well implementing online into their mix of traditional business. So let us know if there's anything else we can do for you. Sometimes people are just shy. They don't want to ask questions. We get that. Robert, I think, with your product in particular, you have every reason to succeed. We set it up exactly, what you need, kind of comparing to Kodiak cakes on the bigger scale. We've worked with other protein cookie companies before, had great success with them. Some of the things that we can get into is like how you offer an ebook and how you create a funnel. One of those clients that we worked with, within, I think it was about 3 weeks, they had an incredible amount of downloads for a free recipe book. And then they did an upsell off of that, and they generated about $250,000 in about 6 weeks. These are young kids, they're in their 20s. All they did is follow the process, the same process we're telling you to do. And if you do those things, you're going to have success. We might have to tweak it here and there along the way. Once you get beyond the basic level of what we're talking about here, now you should be able to generate some revenue and start to have some profit margin that you can break pieces away to put into your marketing. So there's a couple of books that I've been reading over the last few months that I want to recommend to you guys. The first one is this one. It's Business Made Simple. I think the title's probably reversed on it. It's by Donald Miller. It's basically a 60-day crash course. Think of it as an MBA of everything you need to know and understand to operate, manage, and lead your business. Highly recommend it. It's really easy to just go through day by day. There's videos that accompany it, and it'll give you just little lessons, 5 minutes a day to look at the videos. I'm using it right now as a refresher, but also to train my assistant, and we're testing it out on her to see, how we can help quickly get her up to speed of where we would like her to be. Another recommendation I have is by the same author, Donald Miller. It's called Building a Story Brand. This is really about what is the story you're telling the world about your company. What is it about? Right? It's very helpful, especially if you don't really, have money to hire a branding professional. You're going to get a lot of information out of that book. I think it's about $15 for that book. Highly worth it. And the next part of building brand, right, is then, a book that we've all been reading as executives in our companies called Hook Point. Hook Point is by Brendan Kane, and it essentially addresses what's going on in our world today, right? We're inundated with information, and it comes down to What is your hook? Well, you have about 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention. You know, what is it that you're about? How are you differentiating from the market? How can you differentiate from your competitors? It's when we looked at those ads, right? Paul was talking about, hey, I'm just going to scan these and see what grabs my eye. That's really kind of the depths of hook point. It's really how to stand out in a 3-second world. Also another one by Brendan Kane is called 1 million followers. 1 million followers is great. It's going to kind of walk you through how do you increase your followers on Facebook or on social media. You know, and it's basically kind of how Brendan Kane did it. And he basically built a massive social media following in 30 days as a challenge to himself. Now, obviously, 1 million followers is pretty extreme. He had some networks that he could tap into, but there should be no reason why, you know, you guys couldn't follow those same principles and then start to do your outreach to build a pretty solid social media outreach campaign to build a following of, say, 5,000-10,000 people pretty easily. Another one I would recommend, the last one I'll say, is Traffic Secrets, right? Traffic is gold, right? So this is by Russell Brunson, and you can look up Russell and go ahead, deep dive into secrets of traffic, right? Each website needs to get traffic. If you're not getting traffic, it's this equivalent of nobody's coming through your doors, nobody's engaging in your business. So I think each one of those books, I mean, if you were to take, you know, just dedicate yourself to Business Made Simple as a starting point. It's a 60-day, step-by-step, day-by-day. Weekends are off, so you've got some freedom there. You'll be able to figure out exactly what you need to make sure your business ultimately is operating in a balanced way, right? So if you think about your business as an airplane, you know, the leadership is in the cockpit. Well, that's not the only people that need to know what's going on and reading the instrumentation, right? You also have engines, you have wings, you know, you have people that are paid for a ticket. They're on the flight. So you got to fly that plane within balance. And wherever you're out of balance, your overhead goes too high, you're not getting enough leads, you're in trouble. And it basically will walk you through what to do to adjust. Even if you're in a situation where you're saying, hey, I have about 2 months left and I think I'm going to be out of business soon. So it's a great book to look at to help you immediately as well as long term. You know, so one of our goals, I think, ultimately is putting the tools that we have, that we know, that we've tested with other successful clients into your hands so that you can succeed. If our small business community can succeed, all of our communities succeed, right? We have success in our household. We have success in our schools, success in our local businesses. That means local businesses can give more to, you know, Little League, Boys and Girls Club, all those things that help go into a strong community. Really start with our small businesses. And if we work together as a little group, right? Even all of you guys here, if you come together, check in on one another. Make sure you guys are going through these steps, right? Robert, you know, you work out. How hard is it if you're working out by yourself and you don't have a buddy to work out with? How likely are you to stick with the program? Probably not. You're going to get lazy, right? But if you got somebody that's there that's pushing you, you know, if you have Gunny next to you yelling at your ear, telling you to lift that weight, you're going to do it. Right. So I encourage all of you, you know, as small businesses in this valley, just stick by each other, because if we do that, we help each other, all boats will rise. Even in a desert where there's no water, all boats will still rise. All right. Let me look at some questions real quick. Thank you, Al, for saying it's informative and educational. Raquel, the name of the first book, I think Paul answered that, Business Made Simple by Donald Miller. And Robert, yep, thanks for the review on your Facebook page. Wally, can you show a PowerPoint slide with your contact info on the screen so it's included with this video? Paul, do you have a slide readily available with our information on it?
I don't.
Okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to type it to everybody.
I've sent that out before. I can send it out to everybody again with your contact info.
Okay, so there's my information. And there's Paul's information. So, and again, feel free to reach out to us. We know that this was a crash course of all crash courses to kind of give you the lowdown nitty gritty of what to do quickly. Obviously, most of us are in a situation where we don't have a lot of time to waste. We've got to get our businesses up and operating and finding ways that we can generate more revenue as quickly as possible. Gustin, is there anything else you want to add to that? You're on mute.
Sorry. I just want to say thank you to you guys. The information you provided is very helpful. You break it down again to make it simple. Sometimes it's even though it's simple, it gets complicated because again, that's simple. So most people overlook it. And you're right. Small businesses are the backbone of our community. So I believe CVEP, it's supporting the small business because they're the ones that build the community. So, and thank you guys for attending.
Yeah, 80% of the country that's employed is employed by a small business. So it's not just our community, but it's nationwide. Small businesses are really the backbone of our country. It's part of the American dream. It's part of what allows us to do things on our terms. And as entrepreneurs, we jump out of the plane before we really know if there's a parachute in there or not. And we trust that it's going to open on the way down, that we're going to land, it's going to be okay. And if not, we're going to figure it out once we hit the ground. But our goal is to give you every tool available to you so that you're hitting the ground running. And I think, one of the things that we've learned by doing these with various chambers of commerce and different partners, throughout Southern California and across the country, we don't tend to get a lot of businesses that take action. And I think that's always like the most heartbreaking thing is, we give great information, and that information is there to help you. And if you don't do anything with it, it's a tragedy. And it's not just a tragedy for you and your business, but it's also a tragedy of our time and our effort and everything we put into it to help uplift your business as well as our community. So I just encourage each one of you to take the steps. And if there's information that you feel that, we glossed over or it didn't make sense to you, send us an email. We want to help you get on track. So don't hesitate to reach out or to think that every bit of information we've given you today stops today, and whatever you got. And if you didn't, then it just doesn't make sense. No, we want to make sure that you have that conversation with us. And it's a two-way street to help you guys grow. All right. Is there anything else anyone else wants to add? Any other questions that may have come up?
Hey, Robert, I believe it's .co for the email. So yeah.
It is
.co. Okay.
Yep.
I've never seen that before.
Yep. No, that is it's a question that comes up. It's more of a newer extension for companies, just because .com has been flooded and taken, and so
Okay.
it is .co.
I got a question. I've heard if you get someone with like a ORD or an EDU to follow, it has a lot of impact on your site. Is that true?
Absolutely true. If you have a .edu or a .gov or .gov, if they send a link from their site to your web page, it helps quite a bit. And the reason for that, we go back to our principle of why was the internet created? Is it created so that researchers could share information, right? So the way the grand Google machine views it is as a .edu and a .gov, right? Government and educational institutions should have the highest common human interest and the common good in mind, right? They're not there necessarily to sell you something or to persuade you. They're supposed to give you information. So if a .edu says, hey, these Gorilla cookies are the best cookies if you want to try to, work out and be physically fit and ready for action, Gorilla Cookies are the way to go. We've tested it. We've, supplied it to our athletes on, on the UCLA Bruins, and now they've increased their speed 4.2% and their strength 7.9%, things like that, right? Really super helpful. Now, if they don't even go so far as to have a full study and they just have it link, right? Even the association, because you want to think about it as a reference, right? So if we said your website is what you say you're about, the links are what other people say you're about. So one is your resume. This is what you say you've done, but it's the references that confirm that you are who you say you are. And so a .edu or a .gov gives you very high level credibility.
Okay.
Other last questions?
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to you guys, Rich, Paul, all the attendees. Thank you very much for attending this. Rich and Paul just scratched the surface of this, so feel free to contact them and get more in depth on your specific questions. Like you said, a lot of times you guys are shy when I ask the questions, so feel free to reach out to them, and they'll be more than happy to help you guys.
Will the recordings be sent out, Augustine?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, you guys.
Yep. Well, best of luck to all of you in your businesses, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon.
All right, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Great
Good luck,
class.
guys. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.